Hello, I'm Jacklyn Laflamme. I'm a professional artist with JacklynLaflamme.com. Let's talk about how to keep acrylic painting from drying too fast. When starting off preparing your palette, you want to only squeeze out little tiny amounts of paint because it will dry on the palette. So think about how much you're going to need for that particular area and squeeze out that amount. I recommend keeping a spray bottle at hand and just every now and then spraying down your palette to keep it wet. There are palettes that are available that are called Stay Wet palettes, and typically what they are watercolor paper with a piece of wax paper on top. So you would wet the paper underneath and the wax paper will help the paint stay wet longer, and again you can spray it in between. Now when working with acrylic paint, if you want to extend the open time of the paint, I recommend either watering it down with water or experimenting with different gel mediums. The gel mediums, once mixed in, will keep that paint wetter a lot longer if you want to do blending and mixing and what have you. Another way to keep your paints wetter longer is to think about your brush. Every time you bring your brush down to the palette to get more paint, you want to think about dipping it in the water first. Even if you're not changing colors, I recommend you wet your brush every time it touches the palette, and this will help your paints to stay wetter longer and you will have a longer open time. So basically you want to think about the palette being wet, the brushes being wet, and for a longer open time, experiment with gel mediums.